House Freedom Caucus members are calling on President Trump to use his executive authority to end the months and months of stonewalling by the Department of Justice. Congressman Jim Jordan, Mark Meadows, and Ron DeSantis have issued a letter to the White House asking President Trump to force his Attorney General to immediately produce all documents related to FISA abuse, the DOJ investigation of the Trump campaign, and the infamous May 2017 scope memo and August 2nd memo on scope. Congressman Ron DeSantis joining us now. He's a member of a number of committees, the most important committees, including Oversight and Foreign Affairs. Congressman, great to have you here. What do you think are the prospects for your letter and those of Congressman Meadows and Jordan to be heard and acted upon by President Trump?
Prospects are good because I think the president understands that this has gone on too long. These are documents that clearly the American people have an interest in, and this is the easiest way to do it because the folks in those agencies have not been willing to be forthright with Congress and to produce these in a timely fashion. I mean, just think about this August memo that Rosenstein wrote. It was effectively a mulligan because his first memo in May was totally defective. Everybody acknowledged that. And so he writes this other memo secretly in August, and he won't release most of what the memo's about. They're blacking it out. That upset the district judge in Virginia, and it's upset a lot of members of Congress. And of course, we need to know how this counterintelligence investigation began, whether there was anybody used to try to be involved with the Trump campaign at the direction of federal law enforcement, what their relationship was with people like Christopher Steele and the whole 9 yards. These are questions we deserve. Yeah, exactly. I mean, we deserve the answers to these. And, you know, you and I, Lou, have talked about hold Rosenstein in contempt, hold this person in contempt, maybe bring articles of impeachment. Right. The problem is like that's going to take forever and a day. So Jim, Mark, and I myself, we thought the easiest route is to make the direct appeal to the president and just have him order this, which he clearly has the authority to do.
And it does take him to a new level. I mean, it puts him where he actually, I mean, it gives him the opportunity to exert the powers that are rightfully his under the Constitution. And that is to take charge of the Attorney General and end this claptrap that's being spun up by Rod Rosenstein. I mean, it is awful what the man has done as Deputy Attorney General. Sessions has been derelict and absent in his responsibilities, from his responsibilities. This president has been patient beyond, I think, all human expectation. It is time. I couldn't agree with you more.
Well, Lou, they also, I mean, the White House provided unprecedented access. They were just shoveling all the documents Mueller wanted. They weren't claiming executive privilege. They weren't fighting it because they knew that there was no there. And so the reason why they did that, it was a good faith effort to say, hey, we don't think there should be a special counsel. We didn't do anything wrong, but here, look at everything. We'll prove to you our innocence effectively, and then we can move on. But the special counsel has not been willing to reciprocate, and so that's why we are where we are. But the fact that they now acknowledge that DOJ regulations preclude somebody like Mueller from trying to indict the president, I don't know why they're continuing to do this, because there's really no end for them to be working towards.
Yeah, other than the political end, which is to disrupt the Republican Party. This president, the House of Representatives and Senate controlled by the Republican Party in the midterm elections. That looks to be clearly their purpose.
Well, and obviously any of those purposes are outside the scope of what would be acceptable for a special counsel. So if there's a criminal investigation where the DOJ is conflicted, that's the only time you get a special counsel. And clearly here, we've reached the point where the 1-year mark is coming, and I think that he hasn't put up yet, so it's time to move on.
Now, that 1 year arrives tomorrow, May 17th. In so many ways, a very fast year. In so many, it has been, what is the expression that's been used on this broadcast more than once? A slow-moving coup d'etat against the President of the United States. Congressman, we thank you for all you're doing to persevere to preserve the Constitution and persevere in the fight against the left, the deep state, the rhinos, and by the way, still be leading the way in your race for governor of Florida. Good to have you with us, Congressman.
Thanks, Lou. Appreciate it.